Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. Today we're on the website of Gorringes auctions based in the UK, and we're going to have a look at parts of one of their upcoming auctions. They have this massive auction on the 3rd of June. It's the 26th of May today, so a few days left to go, and this has 850 lots of all kinds of stuff, furniture, etc., other knickknacks, things like that. But they do have a few musical instruments somewhere down the bottom of this auction, only about 26 or so, which is a little bit under what we would usually cover. But as I've said before, sometimes it's good to cover small auctions because you never know what's going to be there. I've not really looked at the catalogue, so it might be completely terrible, but it's going to be a very short video anyway. So I thought, why not? Let's give it a go. Looks like the buyer's premium is 25%, so that's not too bad. Here we are approaching some of the musical instrument bits here, some music boxes. So it's 25% buyer's premium. Do bear in mind that this is a UK based auction, so if you're looking to bid on something and you're from outside of the UK, there might be import export fees, shipping, etc, etc. Just to say, if you do enjoy these videos, please consider subscribing, like, comment, turn on notifications, etc, because it really does help. So yeah, without further ado, we're just going to have a look at the musical instruments in this catalogue. Won't take too long, and see if there's anything interesting. So there was a couple of music boxes up there, but we can kind of ignore those for now. So we have a late 19th century Swiss forte piano cylinder music box there. Just zoom out a little bit further. This is a little bit kind of away from what we normally look at, to be honest, but why not? It's good to look at a few other things. £200 to £300 on that. I've zoomed out a bit here just to make it easier for me to see the images. So, Lyceum Theatre Interest, a Windsor Premier Zither banjo with carved and inlaid detail. Okay. Family link with the Melville brothers, owners of the Lyceum. There you go, that's interesting. Quite a nice looking banjo, nice inlays there. 120 to 180 there. Once again, not super knowledgeable about banjos, but definitely kind of interesting. This, I think, is quite cool. This is the one object that I think I've looked at in advance. An early 20th century oak wall mounting 5-note glockenspiel with a resonator for each bar, playing a major arpeggio starting on the tonic. I think this is awesome to just kind of have just on your wall. I don't know if it's like some kind of advanced dinner bell or something, but I think this is awesome. Really cool lot, 60 to 80. Yeah, I think this is great. So yeah, I think this auction kind of worth having a look at this alone. So yeah, really interesting lots. I do like unusual things. So here we have what they are calling a travelling violin, or what you might know as a pochette or dance master's fiddle. It's this kind of little kind of violin for kind of travelling around. So yeah, this looks like it could be quite an interesting one. It's got like a lion head there. It doesn't look super old to me, but looks kind of curious enough. Let's see if we can get some pictures on. It's a little bit difficult to navigate on the Gorringes site, I must be honest. It looks like a fairly typical kind of lion head there, but yeah, the instrument itself looks in pretty good condition. So 60 to 88, that will definitely sell. These are quite popular. And I've been wanting to make one myself, actually, so it would be good if I could buy one and then kind of copy it a bit. But yeah, interesting lot there. Right, one of these single string phono fiddle Strovile things that I am, be honest, not a fan of, but there are people that do collect them. You see them in auctions. Prices vary, 100 to 150 I think it's fair. Sometimes people estimate them at 500 or so. I think that's way over the top. So a late 19th century English violin by Hidalgo, with the label inside the body showing a crown over Hidalgo. Okay, wooden case, body 36 centimeters. I'm kind of not sure why this would be English, but I don't really recognize the name, so I could be quite wrong. 200 to 300. Looks like a trade instrument to me, but once again, like I said, could be wrong. Let's see if we can. It's a little bit clunky to deal with the Gorringes website, unfortunately. Let's see if we can see this label. Yeah, I don't recognise, the name sounds familiar, but I don't recognise the label, so I can't really comment on that. But the looks of it, it does look a bit like a trade instrument here, but like I said, I could be wrong. Moving on. It's got a French violin circa 1900 with a retailer's label inside the body for Thomas Smith. Okay, Thomas Smith, Birmingham. Okay, let's have a look at this a bit more. Interesting kind of magnifying glass that they have. It's not super useful. I think the Brompton zoom is a bit better for this kind of stuff. Have a look at the back there. Difficult to say. It's kind of fairly interesting. Quite nice on the back of the scroll there. Should probably zoom in a little bit more because it's a bit difficult to see. 80 to 120 there, it's pretty fair. Can't really argue on that. Seems to be some kind of, this must be the Thomas Smith label there. Yeah, so sure, like a lot of shops they imported from France, Germany, etc. So interesting enough. Okay, an early 20th century violin for restoration. This looks like your most standard kind of trade violin. Yeah, we don't need to bother with that. French violin with a label for J. Nicholas Aine, à la Ville de Cremona. Okay, without bow. Let's have a look. Yeah, it looks like in that kind of style. For sure, that kind of outline. See, it's usually in a triangle, like a stamp thing. Yeah, I think this is probably kind of correct, like a workshop, French workshop kind of violin there. So 600 to 800. I don't know, it's in pretty good condition, to be honest. Length body 36 seems maybe a little bit kind of high, but I don't know, it might achieve that. It's hard to say with these ones, but I think it's probably correct. Early 20th century violin. Let's see if there's anything to notice from this. I mean, one thing I will say is that a lot of the times it looks to me that some of these instruments are just trade instruments, but there are occasions when clearly some of them aren't. You know, there have definitely been instruments that I've been wrong about, and then people will be like, you know, afterwards they'll be like, oh, did you see that, you know, that early 20th century Naples violin that was, you know, sold as a German violin or as a trade violin? I was like, I didn't recognize it. So it's really, really difficult because there's so many different styles and workshops and all sorts of things, so you can only just do our best to have a look at the pictures. Always inspect things in person. It's really difficult to tell from photos what you're looking at, so that's my main bit of advice, and I just do my best based on what I can see in front of me to give an opinion. So cased early 20th century violin by Rudolf Raymond with a maker's label 1904 in Hill case. Let's have a look at this and just see what we think. Looks possibly believable at this present time. Let's have a look at some of the other work. Once again, can be difficult because sometimes people imported instruments and proclaim to be makers when they weren't, but yeah, I think this is possible, but it's one of those instruments I'd like to see in person really to kind of understand it a bit more. Obviously tell a bit with kind of construction of the molds and things like that, but yeah. Oh, actually, what was the estimate on that one? Looks in fairly good condition actually. 100 to 150. I mean, that's fair anyway. Even if it was a trade instrument, that's fair. Some cases, not too exciting. Another banjo here, Vega tenor banjo there. 5 to 700. I know that some of the Vega stuff's pretty valuable, but not 100% sure on the estimate there. Blue Moon tenor mandolin, 80 to 120. I think that's a bit expensive. I think you're probably looking more like 40 to 60 personally, but let's see how it goes. An Epiphone Joe Pass signature Emperor 2 guitar in hard case. Yeah, quite nice. Lower kind of line of things, 3 to 500 on that. It's probably a reasonable-ish estimate, I would think. A Celebrity by Ovation electroacoustic. Okay, 150 to 200 there. I think that's probably fair. I think at one point Ovation were really quite popular. I'm not sure they are anymore, really. Fender Squier 20th anniversary electric guitar with soft case. 60 to 80. Some of these can be quite valuable, the early Japanese ones, but I think this is probably not. I think it's made in China, potentially. Okay, a Martin Smith electroacoustic guitar in a Ritter soft case. Okay, 40 to 60 on that, nothing too exciting. A Paragon electroacoustic guitar, 60 to 80. This is all fairly low tier stuff. Fender Squier Strat, the soft case, 60 to 80. Let's have a look at the back picture of that. Difficult to say exactly where that looks like. Can't quite read that from the zoom, but could be Indonesia or something. An East Coast electroacoustic guitar there, 60 to 80. Fender acoustic left-handed guitar in a hard case, 50 to 70. That seems a fair estimate there. Rockwood acoustic guitar, that's fairly low budget, 30 to 40. A banjo ukulele Windsor model there, 80 to 120. An Indian single bellow portable harmonium. Okay, it's actually quite an interesting looking one. 60 to 80, that's pretty cool. It's quite a nice looking one there, so that's interesting. And a cased Carmen piano accordion and another small keyed accordion there. Pretty much every musical instrument auction has to have some kind of accordion, I think, 70 to 90 on that. I think that is it for musical instruments. So yeah, there we have it. That is the Gorringes sale, or part of it, for the 3rd of June. Yeah, a few interesting musical instruments here. Nothing particularly crazy. I do really like this kind of wall-mounted mini glockenspiel. That I think is the real kind of interesting thing in this auction. Everything else is fairly... Actually, the pochette is quite nice. Otherwise, everything else is fairly standard. But yeah, it's like I said, it's always good to have a look at these small auctions because you never know what might happen. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching. Really appreciate it. Link to the catalogue will be in the description. And I will catch you next time. Bye.